particularly, it became absolutely apparent to me that I need to reorganize my work, yes, doing the readings, indeed developing them, because Maggie and I are creating a dating site shortly, worldwide, with healers working attached to the site, but allowing scope for me to continue to write my novel, scope for my creative expression. And interestingly, Mars rules my 5th house, which includes creativity, and Ketu is conjunct Mercury in my birth chart, which rules my 3rd house of creative endeavour, and of course is about communication. You remember I said, look at the roles of Mars and Ketu in your birth chart if you need clues as to what special talents you could be blocking up. I'd actually started to write my novel about 5 years ago, but then 4 years ago we emigrated to Ireland, and as many of you will know, emigration is just a huge step. It involved 2 moves of houses and building work and loads of meeting of officials and God knows what. But now I must start again, and because I haven't been reorganising the pattern of my life to allow me time to recommence writing, that is why I've been feeling the stress and indeed getting physical symptoms. So just to tell you, the title of my novel, it's my 5th novel, is The Morrigan and the Dagda. And the Morrigan is the war goddess of the ancient Irish, and the Dagda is the good god of the ancient Irish. And their chief deity was Danu, the wonderful great mother. And indeed, Danu was brought here to the west of Ireland from the southern Turkey area, where there are now the ruins of Gebel Teki and Catalhoyuk, from the Neolithic age onwards. And it's fascinating in relation to the fact I feel I must write this novel, that actually in my DNA, and in the DNA of many people in the west of Ireland, is the same DNA found in the ruins in what is now southern Turkey of Gebel Teki and Catalhoyuk. And it's really important to me that indeed with Irish ancestry on my mother's side going back millennia, I'm writing about the gods and goddesses of the ancient Irish. They're sort of super wonderful beings, faces of the ultimate divine, much less well known than the Norse gods and goddesses, because of course St. Patrick brought the Catholic Church to Ireland in 432, much earlier than Catholicism took over in the Norse lands. But these deities have huge potential for healing and empowerment. And so, with that in mind, I'm developing vision contact work with the gods and goddesses of the ancient Irish and using that for embodiment, healing and empowerment work. And I'm offering sessions of this stuff in the context of my Sacred West of Ireland tours, which will reopen when coronavirus permits, hopefully maybe next March. And of course, as a central core theme of my visionary novel. So you can see I did have a blocked super talent that was making me terribly frustrated because I was not sorting my life out and not expressing it. Now, just to sort of help you get an idea of the drift of this, my wife Maggie Pashley, who's a healer using many online modalities and also working face-to-face at Sligo Wellness Healing Centre, felt like a total urge to develop and to develop and to develop her hypnosis skills. And she's been using hypnosis for over 20 years. But she, was going on very deep online courses. And it's fascinating to notice that in fact, again, it's Mars and Ketu in the birth chart that point to these, because she has Neptune conjunct Ketu in her 12th house, which is the Vedic sign of Virgo. And so Virgo with Ketu and Neptune in it, and Pisces with Rahu in it is of course the nodal axis, having been like an intuitive healer in past life, and those talents saying, I must express myself now in your life, reprioritize your life, develop your hypnosis and hypnosis healing methods. And of course it did mean quite a lot of sorting out of blocks. You know, we're down unfortunately in lockdown again. This is the second period of lockdown. You know, a number of things to overcome, and we're doing building work. So, I think what I want to end on is the statement at the end of my blog post that in fact, the wonderful key to all this is actually that each planet is a face of the divine, a face of the ultimate divine, a facet of the divine. You see, we humans experience each planet through filters, for example, of the house the planet's in, the sign it's in, the aspect it forms to other planets. Our incarnational life purpose for this incarnation means that we will not experience each planet as in its divine nature, as a face of the divine, but in a particular filtered way. And that's for life learning, for evolutionary learning over many lives. So yes, when Mars is in Pisces, Vedic Pisces, the sign where he's debilitated, we will get into psychological messes, emotional problems, etc., etc. But these are actually a chance to move beyond the filtered Mars to the divine Mars. So the divine Mars is Mangala. Mars is the will of the self, working under the direction of the divine sun. Mars is also the intellect that directs our action. Mars is the flame within matter. Mars is proper, spiritually proper, independence, self-will and confidence. Mars is our needed strength, our needed courage, our needed energy, sexual potency, passion and prowess. Mars, obviously, like each planet, has a key role in our questing spiritual realization. Handled negatively, Mars is violence and mayhem, insatiable impatience and argument, discontent, simmering aggression, etc., etc. But the point is, we do need to see how we are experiencing and understanding and expressing Mars energies at the time of this difficult transit, and the exact 10 phases of it are detailed with dates and degrees in part 2. Do have a look at that. And my prayer is that you and I can use this experience not only to express our special talent, but also to see the deficiencies in the way we express Mars, and thus grow as a human being closer to the divine, grow closer to the divine through having to deal with the difficulties, so that we will therefore be able to bring a more divine perception to this Mars that's going on, and a more divine perception to the talent you and I will succeed in manifesting now. Thank you.